Welcoming Dwyane to the Hall of Fame is the answer, Allen Iverson, Dwyane Wade.
Heat Nation, y'all in here? I don't got much time. Coach Pop took all the time. Let me get to it. I want to start by acknowledging all the individuals and the amazing women from 1976 Olympic basketball team on going into the hall. Tony, Powell, Dirk, we were all linked together already, but being on this journey together, getting to know one another as men and not as competitors. It's been hella dope. For Dirk and me, it's been therapy. Who would have thought that we would be on the same team after all of our battles? But here we are, and it's one of the greatest teams I've ever been on. So thank you guys, man. I want to thank Harold L. Richards High School in Oakland, Illinois. I want to thank Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I want to thank the Miami Heat in Wade County. I want to thank the Hoop Hall. Here's my final love letter. The first memory I have of holding a basketball was when I was 5 years old, and it wasn't love at first sight. But one thing I knew for sure was that something inside of me would come alive every time I had that ball in my hands. I've got to credit my dad for my love of the game. He's what you would call an everyday hooper. If that was a court in Chicago, chances are my pops took my brothers and me so we could play against grown-ass men to gain their respect. If there was a basket and a run there, we were pulling up to the lakefront, Foster Park, Blue Island Rec Center, and any local gyms and parks anywhere in Chicago. The best thing about that time was what the game taught me. I had a chance to see the way basketball connected people, just by hanging out with my dad, my uncles, and his friends. My love of competition came from seeing them go at it. It wasn't about anything other than their pride and the love of the game. If you've been around basketball long enough, you know how raw it gets. They had loud arguments about bad calls. You couldn't even think about calling a foul if there wasn't some blood involved. You had to play through it all. The trash talking in those games, it probably wasn't appropriate for kids to be around. But that's the game I grew up on. That's the game that raised me. After all those games, when battles really, watching them sit down, grab a cold beer, laugh and joke about any and everything, about work, family, and definitely who got buckets dropped on their head that day. You know, as a kid, all you need is an opening. What I lived for back then was any intermission in a game. It could be a long timeout, a long argument, water break, somebody getting pissed and throwing the ball over the fence, a break between games. If there was a chance for me to run on the court and grab that ball and imitate my dad, I took it. Thing is, though, at 5, the ball was always too heavy to get to the rim, or too big in my hands. But little did I know that this object was going to be the vessel that changed my life and my family's. By the time I was 9 years old, I didn't have to look far for elite level basketball. My hometown team, the Chicago Bulls, were the greatest force on earth. I look back on those days as some of the best of my life. All my brothers, Demetrius, Donnie, and I did was eat, sleep, talk, think, and dream basketball. It was my obsession. The game gave me equal parts excitement and frustration. See, I was clumsy as hell back then. My hands were too big for my body, and my feet was growing just as fast. Before and after school, before and after my games, I studied the player who had replaced my pops as my favorite, Michael Jordan. He captured my imagination and fueled my aspirations all at the same time. I bet if you give me enough time, I could find that Come Fly With Me VHS that I watched before every game I played. The way he soared through the air felt like forever. He created moves that made me immediately rush to my backyard to recreate them. Game 2 of the 1991 NBA Finals, the Bulls versus the Lakers, my dad's favorite player, Magic Johnson. Cliff Leviston drove baseline, threw it to MJ, who was waiting at the free throw line. He took one dribble. He took off with one hand like he normally does, and then he decided to switch it in midair to the left. I bet you can hear Marv Albert in your head right now. A spectacular move by Michael Jordan. After seeing that, I couldn't tell you how many days and nights were spent practicing that move. I wouldn't stop practicing it until I mastered it. I was hoping to bring some of his style into my own game. By 17, basketball was my soul's love language. It helped give me an identity. It was a safe space that allowed me to be expressive and passionate. I realized that basketball was my blank canvas. I used it to reimagine my life. No matter what was going on in my life, it was my sanctuary. It was my way out. I needed to reimagine life, not just for myself, but for everyone I loved. The game is where I discovered who I could become. It showed me that on the other side of hard work was the success I craved. It taught me the value of resilience in the face of adversity and how to bounce back stronger after a defeat. Through the game, I discovered who shows up for me when I win and when I lose. My confidence was found through the game. It helped me find my worth far beyond the court. You see, I've never been a stranger to adversity. I'm speaking of being labeled academically ineligible as a freshman at Marquette. At 19, finding out I'll be a father before my sophomore season. That season, my 10th game against Wake Forest, I tore the meniscus in my left knee. And at the end of the season, I had surgery to remove my meniscus. There was also 2007 when I had to have 2 surgeries at the same time. One to repair my torn labrum and my dislocated rotator cuff in my left shoulder, and the other on my left knee again. And finally, in 2012, right after our championship parade down Biscayne Boulevard, I had to have my 3rd surgery on my left knee. Each surgery, each rehab, it pushed me past limits I didn't know I had. I could have given up. I wanted to. I never second-guessed myself. I 3rd, 4th, and 5th guessed myself. But I never allowed my injuries to define me. I'm on this stage because my beliefs have always been stronger than anyone's doubt. So to all the hoopers, I hope you take this to heart. No, it's never about your setbacks. It's how you respond. The blows you take are fuel. The limitations people put on you are actually inspiration. No one who comes from the community that I have has ever left a legacy worth remembering by having it easy. As I reflect on my own destiny and the impact that my heroes have had on my life, I'm reminded that our heroes are not always perfect. Instead, they possess a relatability that makes them touchable and real. When anyone speaks about Allen Iverson, that's exactly what they say. He's real. So AI, I need you to know this. I watched you with awe because I saw a reflection of myself in you. The way you played the game was exciting and fearless. It didn't matter who they put in front of you. They wasn't gonna stop you. Shit, I know, I tried. It didn't matter what they said about you because they couldn't measure the size of your heart. Your authenticity and unapologetic attitude, it resonated with me. Your swagger, unique style from rocking do-rags, braids, the baggy shorts, to the untucked jerseys, the earrings, the chains, the throwback jerseys. It all combined to create an image that broke the mold. You challenged conventional norms and became the poster child for individuality and self-expression, inspiring countless individuals to embrace their own uniqueness. You brought hope to those who grew up with limited resources. You showed us that success and greatness were attainable, even in the face of adversity. Your struggles made your accomplishments that much more remarkable. AI, you are a living, breathing reminder that redemption and growth are possible. You inspired a generation, my damn self included, to believe that coming from nothing was not a limitation, but motivation. I wore an arm sleeve throughout my career because AI did. I respectfully wore the number 3 throughout my college and NBA career to represent the love and the respect that I have for this man. So from the bottom of my heart, you are the culture, and we love you, and we thank you, Allen Iverson. To make it here, the Hall of Fame, you never do it by yourself. I've had incredible mentors play pivotal roles. Their wisdom, guidance, and loyalty are as much a part of my story as anything else. They helped me discover parts of myself I never knew existed. You not only taught me the X's and O's of the game, but you also imparted invaluable life lessons that have shaped the very character of the man that I am. Your beliefs in my potential, your guidance through adversity, and your unwavering support have made all the difference, not just in my game, but in my life. I would have never evolved into the player that I would have never evolved into the player that would have played, that could have played with the Mount Rushmore of talent like Shaq and LeBron, without y'all teaching me about the importance of we versus me. That mentality made it possible to understand when sacrifice was needed for my teams to win. So thank you, Jack Fitzgerald, Larry Butler, Coach K, Tom Crean, Stan Van Gundy, Pat Riley, and Eric Spoelstra. I love you guys. Throughout my career, there have been many milestones, like the triple-double versus Kentucky to advance to the Final Four in 2003. We didn't get the chip that year. Salute to my brother Melo. But my Marquette brothers and I left a permanent mark on our university and college basketball forever. From there, I was able to reach 5 NBA finals with the Miami Heat. And win 3. I could talk about my accomplishments and the work I put in forever. But that didn't happen without my peers, coaches, and honestly, you, the fans. Your cheers. Yeah. Your cheers and boos are a part of my life's soundtrack. You made coming to work every night the best job in the world. I was blessed to play with and win championships with some of the best to ever dribble basketball. Teammates who understood how to play the game on and off the court. Overcoming challenges together, celebrating victories together, and creating memories together is what stays with me. Each victory was a testament to resilience and determination. Each loss, a reminder of how precious winning actually was. Being named the All-Star 13 times in my 16-year career, all NBA on both the offensive and defensive ends, I never wanted to cheat the game. And in return, the game gave me a lifetime of amazing memories. With all that being said, nothing compares to the bonds I've made along the way. I'm thankful for Travis Diener, Robert Jackson, Darrell Wright, Quentin Richardson, Caron Butler, Lamar Odom, Eddie Jones, Alonzo Mourning, Gary Payton, Antoine Walker, my bad little brother, Mario Chalmers, and Ray Allen, to name a few. I also played with people who protected me and gave me a bigger sense of purpose. Shaq, Chris, LeBron, and UD. They changed the way I would be viewed in this game forever. With Shaq, I learned how to be Robin to his Batman and then become Batman. Watching Chris simply be himself while giving his all to the game, but not cheating his family out of their time, gave me a friend I could look up to. Spent 4 years with LeBron in Miami. I watched him not take one single day off of being great. And my brother UD and I, we learned how to be selfless leaders together. But the protection that he provided me on and off the court provided the safety of a big brother, and it allowed me to bloom and blossom. So I thank you. I love you. Off the court, another blessing in my life is Henry Thomas. Being on this stage tonight, it simply wouldn't be possible without him. By job title, he was my agent. But in my heart, he was far more than that. If you're really blessed in life, you get to meet angels on earth. There's not a day that goes by that I don't hear him saying, "You got this, my man." I know he's looking down on me right now, chewing his tongue, with a proud dad grin on his face. Hank, we miss you, and we love you, my man. To my loved ones, the ones who have become my lifeline, y'all are my safe haven, a place where I can always retreat to with minimum fear of judgment. I've laughed with you, I've cried with you, I've been saged by you, I'm protected by you, and I'm loved by you. I am who I am because of all of you. You're the embodiment of unconditional love. And that's all I ever wanted and needed. And that's all I ever wanted to show in return. So I want to take this opportunity to recognize a few of my loved ones. And when I call your name, because we've been here all day, I want y'all to stand up so everyone can see your faces. Carmelo Anthony. If y'all could wait till I finish the names before y'all clap, it'll be all day. Chris Paul. Chantel Cohen. You may be at the top somewhere. I love you. There you go. Andre King. Richard Ingram. Bob Metellus. Lisa Metellus. Tracy Union. Tregill Wade Johnson, Dwyane Morris, Kavia James, Zaya Wade, and Zaire Wade. Thank you all for being there for me and for loving me in the most perfect way possible. I appreciate you guys and I love y'all. Thank you. Y'all can sit down now. And my wife, Gab, would you please stand? Thank you for making our house a home. Thank you for making sure our kids feel seen, heard, and protected when I'm not around. Thank you for learning every ref's name in the NBA. And for screaming at them so I didn't have to. Saved a lot of fine money. I know I'm traveling for work this year during our anniversary. So I want to say thank you for being on this journey for me, with me, these past 15 years. Thank you for learning to love my imperfections just as much as we've enjoyed and loved the moments of perfection. I love you. Mom, would you please stand? Your strength to overcome your own personal adversity is something I've always admired about you. To have a mother who loved me enough to know when it was time to allow my dad to step in and lead the way is one of the most unselfish acts I've ever witnessed. Thank you for seeing me and not making my life about you. It allowed me to blossom in an environment that kept me focused and dreaming. Thank you for showing me that our lives don't always go as planned, but with the right amount of love and support, our lives do go exactly as planned. I love you. Pops, would you please stand? I started this off thanking you, and I want to end it the same way. I owe you a debt of gratitude that I'll never be able to repay. When I would cry and say I can't, you made me go harder. You pushed me to limits that I didn't know were inside of me. The hard work I put in was because I didn't want to let you down. Those countless hours in the backyard, when we would compete against each other like strangers, it built me to last. Those days that turned into late nights of me working on my left hand so it was just as good as my right, it made me an unstoppable force. That time you got kicked out of the game as my coach and snuck back in the side door and coached me from the stands just to get kicked out again, it showed me that there was no limitations how you would show up for me. It's the exact same way I try to show up for my kids. So even though I hated being called Little Dwyane, I admired you as a kid. I admire you now. We had the same exact dream, and we carry the same exact name, Dwyane Tyrone Wade. To know we hustled all the way to the Basketball Hall of Fame is God's will. So Pops, I know your knees are a little sore, but will you join me on stage as we take our rightful step into basketball heaven? This one right here, this one is for my father. I love you, and I'm thankful for you.
I love you too, man.
We in the Hall of Fame, dog.